Hi guys, so today I have a few videos to film and they're all kind of art related, so I decided that I was going to start off with these Windsor and Newton inks. Let me zoom in so you can see it a little better. I got these at a store near my campus that sells like used art supplies. So these are like lightly used, and probably a little bit old just judging by like the packaging, but they do still make these inks on Blick right now. The gold is $5.92 for a bottle. This is the gold. And then the silver is $5.39 for a bottle this size, and they also come in sets with smaller bottles, but I'm guessing more of the inks. Yes, they come in, they have sets smaller bottles and more of the inks. Let me just double check Amazon. So when I put it into Amazon, I actually couldn't get it to pop up, so I would say that Blick is probably the way to go. I have like a Blick card and everything to earn points and whatever, but anyways, you can get them in sets with the metallics. These two at least I don't think are included in either of the two sets that they have. It looks like they have the color inks in other sets, and then like the metallic and the black ink and the liquid Indian ink in the bigger bottles. So I have used these in a couple of my drawings. I've used it in this one and this one. So basically the way that I use them is I use them very sparingly. I painted with them like paint, and you can kind of see on this one that it's just nice shiny silvery hair. And then I turned this one into a print, and I also turned the other one into a print. But obviously that shine is gone because it's just a print. So there's that one, and then this one is the original. You can see that her hair is a little bit shiny, and then the stripes on her dress are shiny. And then this is the print of it, which is actually my favorite one. So I've decided to put them through some tests since I've never really done that before. So let me pull them out of their boxes. I do keep them in their boxes just because they're a little bit leaky. But I have to shake them up because if you can kind of see, it's a little bit separated in there, which happens. I think that's pretty normal with inks. If it's not, then somebody tell me otherwise. So I've come up with some tests using my Blick markers. I decided to use these ones instead of my Tombos just because I am also reviewing these markers today, but I used these three colors in the Blick Studio markers, and they're all upside down. I used 94 shell, 12 wine, and 20 black to do this little test and everything to see what the inks look like, because I've honestly only used them over white, so that's the only one that I like really know of. And then I have never used them over black, which I'm actually really curious about. So I'm gonna go in with silver first and do this little test. So I'm just using a really cheap art brush. Sometimes I use my cheaper water brush, which is this one, which I'll be using in a second when we get over to another test. There we go. So, oh my gosh, my voice. So, as you can see, it's like a really nice silver color. It's a pretty cool silver, and it doesn't really bleed through the paper or anything. It kind of reacts the same way that my watercolors react on this paper. Like the other side of the paper feels cold, meaning that the paper is damp, but that's just kind of normal. The paper doesn't like pill or anything. And another thing I'm going to say is I would not usually choose to put gold over either of these two colors. I just picked colors at random because I wanted to see how they would react and everything. Yeah, it goes on so opaque that I think going over really any color is no problem. I did the linings for all these boxes with my Prismacolor, Pigma Micron pens, my fine liners. I used, what size is this? 08 to do them, and it's not like making the 08 smear or anything, as I completely ignore getting inside the lines. My gosh, my voice. And then I dabbled a little bit on here. For the black, it still goes over super opaque, which is super nice. So I think those also, I think it looks really nice over the black, and I like using it over white even though it looks super silvery here. It doesn't look as silvery in person. It looks much more like this color in person, but it's how it looks on camera. So one thing I'm going to do really quickly, I'm going to do it on camera so it doesn't really matter. I'm going to set this aside and we'll come back and we'll check out how it dries. It doesn't take very long to dry or anything. But what I was going to do initially was I was going to dilute them and just put them on here by themselves, but I actually really want to see how the dilution looks over the colors too. So I'll just do, oops, oh, there goes my brush. Some streaks over here with both of the colors, and I'll put white in the middle. Now my mat is a little bit silver too, which is fine. But anyways, let's look at all of our little swatches side by side and everything. So I'll put this one here, and then put this one right underneath. Just looking. Yeah, so this one is now dry. And actually, I think it looks, the gold on the black looks a little bit different than it did when it started, at least in my opinion. It looks a little bit more, like the gold is less opaque than the silver. That's just kind of the fact, at least with these ones. So I think that the gold actually looks a lot nicer now, and it looks more gold than it did when I initially laid it down. And then the silver, obviously, is still opaque AF. They feel quite nice on the paper. They feel like kind of smooth. This one has a couple of lumps and bumps in it that I'm like picking out a little bit. Other than that, the rest of them are like really smooth and everything. You can see that they're like super shiny, and they have like a nice finish to them. They kind of add something kind of special to art. And then I know that these ones aren't quite dry yet, but they kind of have like a different effect when they're diluted. It's more of like a shimmer than it is like a true shine. It's more of like an accent to a piece rather than something that's like taking over the show. I would say that in my silver drawing, this one, I used it as like a special feature so it would shine, and then this is like opaque silver and everything. So yeah, there's like a difference between using them straight out of the bottle and a difference with diluting them. But anyways, I really do love these inks. I got them for super cheap because they came from that crazy store and everything. It's a really awesome store. I'll link that below as well. It's called the Resource Exchange. So I think you can like bring things there as well, and they will price them and sell them in the store and everything, but you can also go around and shop. So I will link the Resource Exchange, and I will also link where you can get these new on Blick if you don't live where I do. But anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you in 2 more videos today. Bye!